Hello and welcome to episode 109 of the HamCorp Training Manual. In this episode, we waste some time doing Thaumcraft, only to find that void miners don't work in the bedrock dimension. We then solve Bedrockium by setting up VMs on Barnarda F. After that, we slightly improve our UU matter generation, set up overclocking for the PCB factory, and craft the first integrated ore factory. So, the bio mainframes are done. What now? Now it's time to make the integrated ore factory. I need to make 5 of these because there are 5 different possible processing lines, and each one will need its own integrated ore factory. It's not that big. It's a decently sized multi. It needs clean stainless steel, easy. Advanced iridium plated machine casings, also easy. Tungsten steel pipe casings, easy. Reinforced glass, easy. Basically everything here is super cheap, except the controller itself. The controller is the most expensive part here. It needs a bunch of UHV parts, which is fine. I can do this now. It's a little painful because it's neutronium and cosmic neutronium and some bedrockium, but it is what it is. And honestly, the worst part is the bio mainframes. The scan is a scan of an IV ore washer. The most problematic part, now that I have these bio circuits, is actually going to be the bedrockium cables. And I'm going to need stacks and stacks to do this. So I am going to have this episode take the most unexpected turn possible. We're doing some magic. And no, I will not be doing the bedrockium nugget dupe recipe, because that's lame. We're going to go to a dimension full of bedrock. And apparently I can set up a void miner in here, and I can get basically any ore in the game. To do this, I need an awakened Icorium pickaxe, which honestly is not that bad at this point. It needs 2 pickaxes of the core, a bit of research that I haven't done, which is probably the worst part of all this. Also some Galgadorian drills, which sound crazy, but they're really not. They're pretty easy to make. And more Icorium. Also the Icorium pickaxe itself, which is just also Icorium. In terms of materials, Icorium is the worst part of this, and in terms of actually getting this done, the research is the most annoying part of this. You've seen me do plenty of research in the past, so I will just be back when I have the Icorium pickaxe. Now, to get to the bedrock dimension, let's first go all the way to bedrock. And now, let's try to break the bedrock with the awakened Icorium pick. That turns it into a portal, and we can step in to enter the bedrock dimension. The top and bottom are no longer endpoints because I can dig through this with the Icorium pickaxe. So I actually don't know how... Oh. Okay, that makes sense. Digging up takes you back home. That makes sense. I don't know how deep this goes. I see that I'm at Y247. Does it go down to 0? Can I break that bedrock? Will I just fall into the void? I have no clue. It would be cool if it took me to the nether, but I am not going to test that right now. So I'm going to dig out some space so I can place some void miners, which of course means I need to make some void miners. These are pretty easy now. Just an LUV recipe. I could have done this a while ago, but I just haven't. It needs the ore drilling plant 4 to craft. And while I'm doing this, I may as well make a few of these to upgrade my meteor miner. And in fact, I may as well make higher tier void miners while I'm doing this. I can do the void miner 2. This is ZPM. I could even do the void miner 3. This is UV. But it needs oganescent, so maybe not. I think I'll just make some tier 2 void miners. Maybe 4 of them. And then I'll be back. Guys, I am sorry to report, I have wasted my time and yours. The void miners don't work in here. What a letdown. So as always, Thaumcraft has disappointed me yet again, and it looks like I'm just gonna have to struggle with Bedrockium a little bit longer. Hopefully not too long though, because I can get Bedrockium from space mining. It does need a Mark II module, which, to be honest, I could make. I don't really need to make the Mark I module because I can make the Mark II one. And to use Mark II modules, I need to make a Mark II elevator. It's the same controller block. What changes is the shape of the structure, so I need some more of the gray blocks that I thought I had finished, but apparently now I haven't finished them. So I need more of these, and I need to make Mark II space elevator motors. These are actually doable. It's all stuff that I've used before, and infinity screws, which I can make now. The research scan is a Mark I motor. There's kind of no reason to make the Mark I motors because I can make the Mark II motors, and they can't get recycled. So there's really no reason to make more than one. That, of course, relies on me finishing the space elevator here, which might be a smart thing to work on. I'm going to put these void miners back into storage, and I will come back to them when I find a use for them. In the meantime, I'm just going to eat shit and finish my first integrated ore factory. For now, I'm just going to make one so I can show you how it works. And I'll set it up to process the most default ore processing path. So maceration, but I guess things come pre-macerated. So washing, macerating again, and then centrifuging. So that path I will do in an IOF, and that should make my ore processing throughput much, much higher. Two more things I want to work on. First, I need to make a stack of infinity blocks to finish this quest. This quest is the gate for UEV, and then we can officially enter UEV, but I'm not really going to do anything in UEV just yet, because I want to have the space elevator done before that, so that's probably the next major goal after the IOF. There's also the liquid cooling tower. It would be really nice because it unlocks overclocking for the PCB factory, which so far has not had overclocking at all. So it's been extremely slow. Overall, these are two relatively minor improvements, so I'll work on these while also working on the integrated ore factory. And once those are done, we can shift focus and completely dedicate ourselves to finishing the space elevator. And by the way, I learned from a comment that there is a molten neutronium fusion recipe. So I should stop smelting neutronium and I should instead start smelting cosmic neutronium, because that's also really slow. This fusion recipe for neutronium is pretty good, 12 seconds for 1 ingot, and it needs molten quadria and molten americium, which I can supply those, no problem. And as for a quick progress update on the space elevator blocks, I have all the gray blocks, I just need the blue ones, and the blue ones are the most expensive. Really, it's UU matter that's the problem. And to deal with that, I'm going to make 2 more matter fabrication CPUs, but instead of dedicating them to making UU matter like this, I'm going to have one make scrap, and then one make UU amplifier, and then this one will continue to make UU matter as usual. That should be a lot faster, and hopefully the space elevator will be done soon. I have Bedrockium. So I am currently on Barnarda F, where small ores of Bedrockium spawn. However, if you use a void miner, it does generate the main ore variant. So I do have some Bedrockium here from these 4 void miners, but let me tell you, they are not common. They are extremely rare. So this is a whole full super chest of stuff and a half, and I only have half a stack of Bedrockium. That's pretty painful. I don't mind voiding everything else for now. Like, I don't have the throughput to process all of this, and I definitely don't have the storage to store everything after it's all processed. So I think I'll fill up a couple of super chests, because why not? I brought 3 more, so I'll fill these up, but after that, I'm going to set the filter here to Bedrockium. Everything else will get voided, but I will be getting Bedrockium ore. Even though it's super rare and slow to generate, it's still going to be much faster than my current setup. Through my sheer hatred of Thaumcraft and my unwillingness to let these machines sit in storage for extended periods of time, I have managed to find a solution. I'm very happy right now. And just to quickly explain my setup here, I basically have 4 CPM energy hatches on 4 void miners. They're all powered from this one Naquata Reactor Mark V, which makes UV power. This is the same as what I use on the gas siphons. I even access the same ender chests. And in the middle there is an ender tank for xenon, because xenon multiplies the outputs of the ores here. Also, this is full. I need to move it. And just look at how fast this is. This is crazy. I thought meteors were good. Holy shit, void miners completely shit on meteors. That said, meteors still have their uses. So I am going to fill up my chests here, get a bunch of Bedrockium, and we'll take it home. I am almost about to head home here. I have 1 stack total across 5 compressed chests. That's pretty painful. But I have also got some awakened draconium ore. This stuff can be processed to make awakened draconium coils, which is the next tier of coils. And in fact, that would allow me to even push to infinity coils. These ones are expensive, don't get me wrong, but it's possible. I could do this craft. So in theory, I could have a base heat of 11,701. That would be pretty good for overclocking purposes. So my takeaway from this whole thing is that I'm being rewarded for avoiding Thaumcraft. And I like that takeaway. Can you tell I'm a little salty? Alright, back home. I'm currently just encoding my recipes here because I still don't have the IOF. So it's feels a little silly because I'm basically going to rip it up in a second. I just wanted to say that once you do have your Bedrockium dust, don't smelt it. This is insanely slow. Don't do this. Instead, just chuck it in an assembler. 1 tick for an ingot. It costs 9 times as much Bedrockium dust, but you can just mine more. So this is, like, just better. So this is great. I now pretty much consider Bedrockium solved. And now the only thing standing between me and greatness is UU matter. But first, IOF and the infinity blocks and the liquid cooling tower. And then we can enter UEV and I'll finish the space elevator. Wait a minute. You know who I forgot about? The unsung hero of this playthrough? Gary! Gary has been hard at work leveling up Transformium for me, and I see that he has done a very good job. I might stick this in an extreme industrial greenhouse, and this might actually be faster than the whole UU matter thing. I'm gonna do both, because UU matter is slow, but I don't know, I've never seen this setup, so I don't know if it's any good or not, and I guess I'll find out. And yet again, Gary has proven that he is the highest performing worker I have ever hired. Thank you, Gary. Everyone say thank you, Gary. I made another extreme industrial greenhouse, but for some reason, the Transformium seeds don't work. If I turn it on, it doesn't go in. I don't know why. I also can't put it in manually. It won't let me. IC2 mode is on, so it's not that. So it seems like this just doesn't work. I don't know. I can just make like a normal field of the Transformium, which is better than nothing, but it's not going to compare to the multi-blocks. And speaking of those mass fabrication CPUs, I have set this up. So this first one is a recycler, and it makes scrap out of all the extra shit I get from my EECs. So greed shards, wrath shards, miniature red hearts, gassed eggs for some reason, enderman heads, all of these get turned into scrap. And clearly, I am not able to keep up with this. So this is going to run out in about 20 seconds. Now that scrap goes in here, into the second one, where it is converted into UU amplifier. UU amplifier goes into the third one, where it is used as part of the crafting recipe to make UU matter. I think there is kind of a circuit conflict. Not a conflict exactly, but when I run out of amplifier, it's going to stop making UU matter. So I think I need to add an input bus that also has program circuit 3 in it. And then it will do this 512 liters recipe when it can, and then it'll do the 256 liters recipe when it can't. So it seems no matter what I do, UU matter is just going to suck. To be honest, it's honestly starting to seem like I should just spam more single blocks. That seems to be more effective. But maybe that's not true. We'll see. Meanwhile, I've crafted the first 21 reinforced photolithographic framework casings. These need infinity frame boxes and enriched holmium plates, and enriched holmium is holmium dust plus enriched naquata dust. These are used for making the tier 2 PCB factory, but I need 158 of them. That's a lot of infinity. I can't really afford that yet, and I don't really need the tier 2 factory just yet either. What I do need though is the liquid cooling tower. I'm going to place it right here, and I'm going to hook it up to this PCB factory, and then this thing will be able to overclock, and our profits are going to go way up. Actually, I kind of changed my mind. I think I'm going to put the tower over here. It'll still be in range of the second PCB when I build it, but the thing is, this is an odd-sided building, so it wouldn't center nicely. So I decided to just put it off to the side. Tower's done. Pretty simple looking structure, but I like it. It's a nice color scheme. So at the bottom here, bottom center, I have a stocking input hatch, and it's going to be stocking distilled water. And now let's see how much faster making circuit boards is. This recipe was about 72 seconds, and now it's 9. That is pretty good. And once I can upgrade this to do perfect overclocking, this is going to be even better. Nice, big upgrade. Thank you for watching this episode of the HamCorp Training Manual. In the next episode, we will set up the first integrated ore factory and massively scale up our neutronium and cosmic neutronium processing. If possible, we will also finally set up the space elevator. I've been crafting parts in the background for many hours now. This thing is expensive. See you next time.